All right, FTR1200 demo in Las Vegas. We're rolling. Beautiful morning. A little chilly, in the 30s. So here we go. See some snow in the mountains here. It's February 8th. Pretty cool deal getting to ride the FTR1200 before just about anybody in the world. They've had some bikes out to some racers, engineers, a few of the motorcycle magazines, and bloggers, a couple of them. But this is really first time dealers are going to get to ride this. So my bike's in track mode, which is interesting. So we're going to go full power. I don't know if it's going to make a big difference. It's got 3 different ride modes on the race version here. So you can see it has the 4.3 ride command screen. Beautiful screen. We got about 30 dealers here going out. First thing you notice with this V-twin is super light. About 20% of the motor was actually derived from the Scout. 80%'s new. Bigger valves, changing the headwork. Probably the big first impression right now in the first mile is how light this thing is. It literally feels like a motocross dual sport type bike. I mean, it's just super light, real narrow with the Pro Taper bars. It's motocross type bars, so you feel like you're on a dirt bike practically, which is where the heritage for this bike comes from. You know, they built the FTR750 first. That's available as a flat track race model only, not street legal, and that's been out for a year. You can buy one of those for $50,000 from a dealership and take it flat tracking, but you can't take it on the street. You can't make it street legal. So they had that bike first, and there was so much excitement about it that everybody wanted a street version. And so they've finally, after, well, they've been working on the bike, I hear, since 2016. They came up with this 1200. So similarities between the 750 and the 1200 are a lot. It's the same subframe, I've been told, swing arm. They really wanted to keep that racer styling. Short chassis, so it's real quick handling. So it looks a lot like the 750. This bike has, the 1200 has kind of a low boy pipe setup. The 750 has kind of a high boy. You'll see, I'm sure, aftermarket pipes come out. Wow, this thing has got a lot of snap. It is really snappy. Feels great. Super smooth. So it is a V-twin, 60 degree, 120 horsepower, 85 foot-pounds of torque. Don't know the exact weight. I think it's under 500 pounds. I saw 480, 488. It definitely feels light. And it is quick. Nice and stable. A lot of grooves on this road in Vegas. Doesn't really affect it. Yeah, it's a nice bike. Nice and stable for being a short race bike type chassis. A lot of guys dressed pretty light here today. I was kind of surprised. I threw on the climb gear, and I'm glad I did. It's only probably in the mid-30s, so I'm pretty comfortable, but some of these guys are wearing lightweight textile jackets and Levi's, and even some guys with half helmets on. They got to be cold. Beautiful day here in Vegas, though. First time in Vegas when it's actually really cold out, and surprising, they got down in the 20s last night. But still pretty. So back to the bike. Yeah, they're going to be hitting the dealership probably April, May. We've got all the first ones sold, and but we're still taking deposits. We'll have more later this summer. It's been one of the most anticipated bikes ever. Boy, this thing's quick. I mean, it is really quick. And probably my favorite thing about it here, the first impressions, is the riding position. I'm 6'2", and I'm really just sitting upright, very comfortable. In the stock trim, I'd say these bars are in the right position, seats decent. I could ride this bike all day. The motor is just super smooth. It's just quiet. You can see these bikes in front of me. It's got a real flat track inspired rear section, as I said. Massive brake. Again, on the more expensive model, you got the adjustable suspension. But yeah, you know, first impressions again, the bike is super light, very quick, smooth, great brakes. It has a slipper clutch, makes it easy to ride. The guy that buys this bike or gal isn't going to be probably an inexperienced rider by any means. But even an experienced rider, that slipper clutch is pretty nice. So talking about this bike compared to, say, the Scout, again, the motors, they say about 20% Scout motor, 80% new motor. I've got to say the shifting is probably the best shifting I've felt on an Indian. But to be fair, all of them shift well. It's got LED headlights, so it's got a ton of light. Should be good vision at night. Yeah, I'd say this thing is living up to all my expectations as far as being quick and light. Great riding position. It's pretty cool of Indian to bring all the dealers down here and let us ride this bike. Polaris is a great company, and I think getting the marquee brand Indian was a great move, and then going after the Scout market was genius. And now the FTR market, this 1200, like I said, we've got deposits, people are excited about it, and I guarantee they're going to come out with an FTR street legal 750, probably a 500. You know, the small bike market, lower price point bikes are the way to go these days, it seems. A lot of people in that market, so that'll be good. Price wise, you know, these things, the top of line models right at 17 grand. They start out at in the mid-13s, you know, so they're priced really well. You know, if you look at what's out there, this bike is super competitive with the European bikes, the Japanese bikes, and you know, at 1200 cc's and a pretty lightweight package with great suspension, 120 horsepower. It's got to be bike of the year, in my opinion. And that's not just as the general manager of Pro Caliber India Motorcycle, Pro Caliber Vancouver, and all around guy that loves bikes, and I've ridden tons of them. This is a cool bike for a reasonable price, and I think that if they take this bike and they add a couple more versions of it, a couple more displacements, price points, it's really going to help Indian. The big bikes are great, the Roadmaster, the Chieftain, but this bike really is a neat bike. Boy, it's quick. I mean, yeah. And in these corners, you just barely lean and it just turns right around them. Again, it really feels like riding it feels like you're on a dirt bike. I mean, these bars feel like about the bend that I used to have on my motocross bike. Oh, it sounds good too. That's with stock exhaust. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could get it out on an open course or section of road where we could open this thing up really and hammer through some corners, but you got to maintain a certain amount of decorum when you're riding these demo rides. I don't like you doing wheelies. I don't like you doing hot rodding within reason. So we'll just ride along as we should and enjoy it. You feel like you want to just go to the inside and pass these guys, like you want to be Eli Tomac or something when you're on this. Really, that's how it feels. It's pretty incredible. The more I ride it, the more I get that feel. It's just like, yeah, something else. You know, the thing I like about it too, you know, see some of these guys riding around me are pretty big guys. You know, it's a bigger bike. I think it'll fit a lot of people. It's not a big bike by any means. Nothing ridiculous, but at 6'2", I'm comfortable. I could ride this bike every day. And like I said, I'm in track mode, and she's quick, but you know, it's not doing anything crazy. It does have wheelie mitigation, traction control, so the bike actually will only let you wheelie so much. Well, I don't know, in track mode it might let you. I'll tell you what, this bike is quick. I know I've said that a couple times now, but holy cow. I think just that freewheeling acceleration where you feel like you have no resistance and the bike's just picking up momentum. I haven't ridden any street bikes that really feel like this. The Scout, sport bikes of course, you know, but that's a whole different category. You're in a different riding position. I would say as far as upright riding position, you know, the vibrations are minimal. Sometimes on V-twins that's a concern. People's hands go numb. Older riders have problems with them, but I have virtually no vibration here. It's cold out. Fingertips are a little bit cold, but that's about it. And yeah, I could ride this bike all day easy. I think people that have deposits down are not going to be disappointed, and I think if you're looking for a really unique bike that you can do a lot on, I think this is going to be a bike you want to get in line for before it's too late to get one this summer. Yeah, there's very few bikes that come through the dealership that I personally think, you know, gosh, I got to have one of those. And this would be one. What do you think?
Yeah. It's definitely got some good power.
It's quick, isn't it?
Yeah, very quick.
I can't believe how light it is and how light.
Yeah. Yeah, that CG with everything being back and low. Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you're on a dirt bike practically.
In the full face though, this is just blowing me away. I'm like, damn.
Well, I saw some of you guys with those half helmets and I thought, man.
Yeah, I just threw it in the suitcase. It was easy.
Yeah, well, I kind of geared up, but I knew it was going to be cold, so I ride a lot up in the Northwest where we live, and I'm like, you know, I'm going to dress for the conditions.
Yeah, that's smart.
Where are you from?
Arkansas.
Right on.
How about you?
State of Washington, Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, cool.
Travis.
Dave.
Nice to meet you, Dave.
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's everything I had hoped it would be.
Yeah, I'm surprised, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to be disappointed.
I agree with you 100%. They will sell well.
So there's Dave from Arkansas. Sounds like he's feeling about like we are, or I am. You know, that's the cool thing about this bike. I think it fits a lot of riding styles. You're going to get the flat track guy, you know, the Portland hipster scene. You're going to get the older guys. You're going to get the motorcycle enthusiasts. I think this will be a bike that guy that has maybe a Harley, maybe a Roadmaster or Chieftain, probably a BMW in his garage, and he's going to want this bike. So as far as height wise, I have pretty standard length legs for a 6'2" guy, and I'm flat footed with my street bike boots on. So again, it's really a medium sized bike. It's not super tall like some of the bikes we see, nor is it short. So, you know, really I think an average height person is going to be right at home on this. And you can see, looking at the other riders, Dave from Arkansas there looks a little shorter than I am, and you know, his legs look pretty decent. I don't feel cramped up. Like I said, the tank looks kind of wide, but it's actually not. And the funny thing is, this isn't actually a tank. These are just covers. You can change up your covers, which is pretty cool. Customize it. You wouldn't want to do it to this bike because this is a racer graphics, but they did that because the tank is actually under the seat. I believe it's 3.4 gallons is what I've heard, and actually the air intake's underneath here, this cowl. So, and the reason why they put the tank underneath the seat is to make the bike have a lower center of gravity and handle better. Well, and I can tell you, I'm here to tell you that the bike handles well. So we're rolling back into the Las Vegas Indian dealership. Thanks to Indian Motorcycle for making this happen. The demo truck people, we have a lot of experience with them coming to the dealership. Hopefully we'll have them at our dealership this summer, and you can come out and ride one of these Indians. So thanks for going along for the ride on the 2019 Indian FTR1200, and we'll hopefully see you at the dealership.